Hey y'all, welcome back. Happy New Year. It is me, your girl, BrittReacts, refreshed, recharged, rejuvenated, reignited, refurbished. Okay, I'll stop there. Happy 2025. I hope and pray every single one of you has had a great 4 days into the new year. Fun fact, it is our 2-year anniversary here on the BrittReacts channel as of right now today. It was on January 4th, 2023 that I uploaded my first 10 videos. That's right, I used to upload 10 videos a day. Whew, times have changed, and so has my energy. I had a son. Here we are. All right, I'm rambling, but it's just because I'm so glad to be back. It's been about a week since I sat down at my desk. And we are going to dive into what has probably been the most requested, controversial, yelled at video. This is SHOEONHEAD, the male loneliness epidemic. Let's see what she has to say.
I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks, the men are not okay. The men have no friends, no girlfriend, no college education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones to be a few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addictions.
You deserve real love.
Turns out the society that was built by and allegedly for men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking, oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by SHOEONHEAD. Yes.
Yep.
And if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else.
This girl, she just is the light of my days recently. Where do I even begin? Okay, I do want to say that any man that feels he needs to break and regrow his legs, whatever the surgery is. I've actually done some research because I just didn't believe it was true. I know that most men are going over to the Russian side and they're getting this surgery where they're breaking their bones to have them put back together, and then you crank them every few whatever and it helps them grow. Any man that is doing that in effort to attract women, I want you to know you do not need to be doing that. I am a above average height woman. I'm 5'7". I'm not tall, but I'm above average height. And I've always dated men, for the most part, that when I put on heels, I'm taller than them. It's never bothered me. I have male friends that range from the shortest to the tallest, and they're all married, happily married. Women love them, adore them. I just want you to know you don't have to do that. The Batman thing threw me there's just so many things. But I just wanted to say that because that breaks my heart. No pun intended, that men, now if they're doing it for their own whatever, fine, because someone's always got to say don't do this for that. It's do it for any other reason, but don't do it because you think it's a mating call for women. There are some women out here that will only date men of a certain stature, but I can promise you they are no longer, or not longer. They are, what am I trying to say? They aren't fulfilled either. Back to you, Shu. Shut up.
Men are in a crisis, and it seems nobody really cares. And the people who do care just seem like the people wwho want to sell them shit. Not me. I'm different. So before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor.
Is it Monster?
Today's sponsor is Holzkern. Oh. Holzkern is a young Austrian company that designs unique crafted watches and jewelry made from all natural materials. Their high-quality timepieces come in various designs for both men and women, making them the perfect gift for any occasion. They're a great blend of function and fashion, and overall I just think they look very classy, especially the men's watch collection. I was pretty impressed with the silver casing and blue marble dial of the Naturalist watch, which made for a great gift for my boyfriend. He especially loved the casual yet stylish appearance, making it an ideal choice to wear both at work and at home. I'm also really happy with the watch I picked out. It's made from black and white marble and features a nice black leather bracelet that just feels so comfy. They also create elegantly crafted earrings, very unique handbags, sunglasses, and necklaces, like this rose marble elevation necklace. It makes a really memorable and unique gift for a loved one. All of their products have a 24-month warranty, and ordering online is super easy with free shipping to the US and most EU countries within 2 to 5 days. So if you want to get yourself a good quality watch and support the channel, I highly recommend checking out their store and clicking the link in the description below. Use my special code SHOE15 at checkout that will give you 15% off for all products store-wide. So go to the link down below and choose your own unique piece of nature. Thank you, Holtzgren, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, as always, for not skipping the ad.
Why are men and boys struggling? And what should we do about it?
A few new studies have come out that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men. The women and children, too. It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. But according to the media, this is a good thing. The she-economy is booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right. Yeah, man, stop listening to that derogatory music. Then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely kind of shows there might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source. I read about it on the internet. Research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift towards white-collar jobs, and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori. Did I say that right?
Who knows?
Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves.
Okay, I have a question, and this might be completely the thing that sends us all into a spiral. I might get hate mail for this, but if you're new here, hi, I'm a Christian. I believe way more in the relationship I have with God than I do in religion and, you know, all the things that go on in that. However, but I do believe, or no, let me start that over. I don't believe, but I wonder. We are in a, what they call a post-Christian society where Christianity was at one point kind of the driving force, at least in our country of the United States of Americas. And it was the most... It was the number one religion in our country. And correct me if I'm saying this wrong. This is how I understand it. And that no longer stands. We are in a post-Christianity, post-Christian society, meaning the numbers have flipped, the scales have tipped. And I wonder if because of that, so has the morality and the honor and the, dare I say, submission of the male and female relationship. I think the dynamic has really changed. And I just wonder if a lot of that has to do with the fact that like so much of our country is no longer really rooted in the basics, the basis of Christianity, which is men are to lead, men are the head of the household, men are, you know, as it is written, and women are to be submissive, and women are not to lead churches, and women, you know, do you understand what I'm saying? I wonder if there is some correlation there. It's just a wonder. I'm not saying it's true, but I wonder. I agree with SHOEONHEAD in the fact that it feels like this is a society issue and it's not a male versus female issue. And so often the two genders are pitted against each other, which is so strange. But yeah, I mean, I have 3 younger brothers and they all find it so hard to like commit. And I have a lot of female friends who are my age, who are freezing their eggs, who are engaged and unengaged and married and divorced. And it's just like, this feels like there's a bigger problem than just pointing and laughing at it, making jokes. So, surprise, I agree with SHOEONHEAD. I actually agree too that, I don't know, I think let me let her continue and maybe I'll find my words.
Hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time.
Wow.
In 2010, there was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. And today, it's estimated to be about 1.55 million. And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact and reintegrate them back into society. So basically, if you want to know America's future, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology. R.I.P. to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us more atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, 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 buy a new microphone and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers? Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I can just tap, 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 Google big boob and get 2 million results? Or see my high school crush's holes on OnlyFans for only $5. Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction, and hey, who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend?
We're done.
Dating apps really are the great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and I mean, naturally we are pickier. You know, we're the ones who carry the babies. At least for now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification now, but on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little...
How men rate women, how women rate men. Okay. This is from OkCupid. All right. That story about the hikikomori is crazy. I have known that Japan's like, they just are not having babies like they used to, but to hear those numbers, they're wow. This is just concerning in more ways than one, if all of this is true. I hate to break it to everyone, but we need men. We need them. We need them for a lot of things. We need y'all. Y'all, we need you. If you got to hear it from anyone, hear it from me. We need you. I need you. No, but in all seriousness, like, this is just whacked out crazy.
A little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest. The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 1 in 5 men say they have no close friendships. Looking at all these statistics, the explosion of figures like Andrew Tate is not surprising at all.
I believe being a man is a blessing because it starts so difficult. I believe that every man is born without any value at all. I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
And recently,
I so agree with her on that. Andrew Tate is the personification, the poster child of alpha male. Tall, dark, handsome, rich, educated, well-traveled, well-dressed. He is the alpha. Like, alpha. when you think of the well-rounded male. And I think the double-edged sword that we have here is that, one, you have a bunch of males who now feel inferior because social media is praising men of the sort. And then two, you have men who are very far off from where or who Andrew Tate is, but because Andrew Tate gives them accessibility and insight, they feel they can also be and behave like and talk to women like and treat women like they are Andrew Tate. And so I think what happens is, in the middle of that, you have men that are just like ostracized or lost, just lost. The friendship thing, I think as a whole, as a woman, I think I don't know too many women that'll tell you that they wish they had more friends. I think as a whole, our society has like lost the art of friendship because, well, we don't have conversations anymore. We don't go to coffee houses with our friends. We don't sit around like friends anymore. And people are just too busy to foster and nurture relationships that maybe aren't immediate family. And you have to work about a bit harder nowadays. And I can't imagine also for men who are literally canceled or shamed or blasted on the internet for showing an ounce of emotion, how that feels then to have no one to talk to about it. Check on the men in your lives, okay? Please. Jesus.
A new study came out about how young men are moving towards the right. And every other month, we, the liberal, sockdom, leftist, whatever you want to call the space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics. Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate. A few months ago, during one of the monthly song and dances, some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues, and the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at their own spaces for not doing enough to.
The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them for our own sake.
To address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that, men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vaush, who's a popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, "I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't."
The responses to these tweets and this content were very normal, level-headed, and respectful. Me when I lie. LMAO, cry about it. Boo hoo. Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo hoo. Grow the
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at her, not at this. This is wild.
No, poor widow men having problems. Boo hoo. Grow the up then. Have men considered being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad, pathetic lives. Sounds like a personal problem.
What
is
has
the lack
happened?
of compassion for men in the room with us right now? Maybe men are just not good people then. I'm so fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their shit together as human beings. Grow the up. Why are we trying?
Okay. I have two things to say. One, I really wish, and I hope in 2025, the words left and right just get burned. My brain hurts, honestly. Can we pick something else? I can't. That's the first thing. Second thing is, imagine if this thread was about women and woman loneliness, and people were like, boo fucking who? We've got to get it together. Snap out of it. It is like the culture of just having to be anti something because it's trending and not even really diving into learn anything about it. Just jumping on the hate train has got to end. Because what do you mean to tell me? If someone told me my brother, any one of them, is in the middle of a lonely, depressive episode and he's being affected, do you think I'm going to say, boo-hoo, get up and get over it? But everyone's so freaking desensitized. And as long as it's not affecting them, they can trash on it. They can burn it. They can turn their eye to it. No. I'm infuriated. Can you tell? I'm like, what's the little anger from Inside Out? I feel like him right now, like I'm burning because it just is so mean and wrong and hate fueled. And where is the compassion? Even if you don't understand it, if you don't see it in front of your eyes, it's like if someone is telling you that this is a statistical thing. I need a minute. Okay. All right.
Because they can't get their shit together as human beings. Grow the up. Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over?
Entitled little predators.
That's why they go right in the first.
Even if they are entitled little predators, they're your future. They are the future of what is going to run this country. We should care. And perhaps if we cared while they were 12-year-old little white entitled predators or whatever you're calling them, they wouldn't turn into these monsters that you guys seem to hate so much. Like, hello, turn the lights on. Someone turn the lights on. I mean,
First place, we're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right in droves. The problem isn't our messaging, it's them. It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynist being not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting laid. LOL. Cry harder, losers. 90% of
a man just simply existing in his life and his world is now bigotry and misogyny. I just want you to know that's what these people are saying. I get it. Everything surrounding Andrew Tate. I get it. I get why he is triggering and divisive to some. I get why he's inspiring and motivational to others. I get it. But this man has never been anything than other than like authentically who he is in his lifestyle. And if that is scamming or religion, whatever that looks like for him, he's only ever presented as himself. How is that? I don't know. I just am trying to understand, like, guys, this guy just got on the internet and started talking about his life and living his life. And somehow everyone was so triggered by it. And it's like, first of all, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to agree with him. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to engage in it. But like, he's simply a man being a man, which is decades ago what every woman wanted, was to stay at home and be cute. And, you know, and now since women want to pretend like they don't want to live soft princessy lives, which I think we're all starting to realize we want soft princessy lives. Let me tell you something. I was a single mom for I got married when my daughter was 7. Okay. My now husband came into her life when she was 5. But in between all of that time, I was a single mom pulling it from the trenches. And I had always just been super independent, super on my own. I didn't have a lot of support and family, certainly didn't come from money. Had my first job at 14, used to walk to work after I got the school bus, pretty much raised one of my biological brother. And just always had this chip on my shoulder because I could do it by myself. You know what I mean? I didn't have my dad growing up, so I was anti-daddy issues. I was like, I'm independent. Rah, rah, rah. Listen. And then I got married. And then I realized, oh, this is how God intended it to be. I can still be a strong, independent, hardworking businesswoman and be a submissive, pretty little princess. Both can exist. I can still respect and honor and uplift my husband and still do the things that I want to do for myself. That doesn't make him misogynistic. It doesn't make me antiquated and, oh, woe is me. And that's why I wish the words left and right would just go away, because I feel like everyone feels like they have to pick a side. Everything is not black and white. Everything is not black and white. And just because someone doesn't agree with you or you don't agree with their way of living does not mean you get to push them aside. I need to calm down. I'm fired up.
Being louder than before, not getting laid, LOL, cry harder, losers. 90% of all homicides recorded worldwide were committed by male perpetrators.
Okay.
We should just get rid of all males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence.
Not rehabilitate, not mass counseling, nothing. No, there's no solution other than to just wipe out an entire... Oh, and while we're at it, let's just throw in trans women since they were born men. This is your heart is not pure. It's not, I dare to say, go and have the day you deserve, that you're wishing this on people. Again, you don't have to agree with the trans movement. You don't have to agree with it at all. This, though, didn't even call for you to pull them into this. Like, what they're probably like, what do we have to do with it? We were over here minding our business. Like, it's just like, instead of saying, all right, well, if this is the case, then why don't we're just going to do away with them, because that makes sense. Because if we do away with them, y'all, there is no us.
All males, to be honest.
I'm tired.
This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence. By the way, you know the Tumblr feminists who were like, all men are sexist and rapists, male tears, penises are evil, blah, 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 back in the day? Well, this is them now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle. I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin. You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist, because I recognized most of the sort that look like me are the problem. I may be hideously ugly and pathetic, but at least I'm not a fascist. Thank you for your input, buddy. You're, really helping the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them, for our own sake. I'm sorry, but how is respect women brain-dead advice? What advice? Don't rape? Don't be a rapist is bad advice? Help, I have no friends or community, I feel suicidal. Have you considered not raping? Act like a decent fucking human being, it's not hard, is brain-dead advice? Brain-dead advice like, get consent and don't be a Nazi and women are people. Walking up to men struggling with loneliness and depression like,
kids, don't be racist.
Incredible. Here's my actual advice I would give to my teen
It
boy.
really is like, what does one have to do with the other? So some men are these things, and so we don't care about any men. Some women are also these things. Women are predators. There are women out there that are predators. Women can be rapists. Women can be violent. Do we do away with it? We just wipe out. You know what, Lord, just come rapture us and start over again, because we are failing miserably. This is 2, 3, and 4 much.
Don't be racist.
Incredible. Here's my
I love
actual
her sense
advice
of
I would give
humor.
to my teen boys as a leftist. 1. Always get enthusiastic consent. 2.
Enthusiastic
Save the
consent.
planet.
Save the
3. Don't say that. It's actually kind of racist.
Lil baby
what the f-
Gandhi.
is this? How does this address men and their issues? It doesn't. Why does their advice always seem to be, become a liberal? Hey men, here's how to fix all your problems. Agree with me politically. Men flock to the MRA movement because they're the largest beneficiaries of MRA shit. Imagine saying women flock to women's rights activism because they're the biggest beneficiaries of women's rights. Like, no f***ing shit. Let's be honest. Aside from procreation purposes, men have become obsolete. Most women can find other methods of achieving orgasm without a man there. And speaking as a man, most of us are horrid to be around. And I don't blame any woman for...
I've never seen so many pick-me's in my life. These are just pick-me's who are like, yeah, we're all pretty crappy. I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that, and I can't even stand to be in the room with me. It's like, pick me, I'm on the internet and I want to agree with you so you can pick me. Shut up. Get real. Get real. Get real. No man would seriously stand in a room full of other men peers, male peers, and say that.
Just saying, no thanks. Oh my god, dude, this is what every Just Pearly
Her hair.
Things tweet looks like to me. Just with the genders swapped.
Just
Pathetic.
Pearly? Oh, she's
You know
talking
what
about Pearl?
fixes male loneliness? Jerking off. As a man, I'll say this. Sit down, shut up, and beat one out. You'll feel better. I promise. Yeah, guys, just beat one out. Just off. Just watch porn. Batman will be very disappointed in all of you. It's so funny how men feel entitled to a girlfriend. No, you sexist freak. When one side is like, wanting a girlfriend is sexist entitlement, and the other side is like, here's how to get a girlfriend. I don't know, bro. What happened to males just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and try to make their loneliness and misery into some social justice issue. Oh, trust me, men are still kicking the bucket. And when they're not giving
Evil.
mind-blowing advice like just to
Evil.
be a liberal, they're outright dismissing men's issues completely.
Evil.
It's not our job to educate them. Since men created the problem, they need to take steps to fix it. We have other things to care about. Men can figure out their own...
How did men create the problem? That's a genuine question. How did men create the problem of male loneliness? When statistics say that social media has a huge part in it. Are we blaming the men who created the social media apps, or... Let us just take a moment of silence. Man, I am sorry to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you. I'm sorry that you endure and have to carry all of this. And if you don't do it silently, you are stoned in the street. I'm sorry. I am. I'm genuinely sorry. No man deserves that. I don't know where I saw this video going, but I didn't realize. I really genuinely, I guess because I don't feel this way towards men and I don't live in a world where men cannot come to me and be themselves or vulnerable, that I just didn't realize the problem was this deeply sad. Wow, we're failing our youth. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We are. If this is what our youth is growing into, God, I have a son, and I promise you, he will not ever think any of this is real. I won't ever raise him to feel like he can't exist. Come on now.
Men's issues completely. It's not our job to educate them. Since men created the problem, they need to take steps to fix it. We have other things to care about. Men can figure out their own problems that they created. Again, it's not women's jobs to change how men are socialized. It's a man issue and y'all need to address that amongst yourselves. Men created their own problems. Men can solve their own problems. The left is busy. Why does the well-being of other people concern me? Leftist, by the way. It's all systemic issues and societal factors and blah 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 until it's a man and then suddenly it's pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. This problem is just a consequence of the patriarchy. Now take a wild guess about which gender created the patriarchy. solve your own problems, and leave women alone. These people rightly mock the bootstraps rhetoric until the subject is a man, and then it's bootstraps all the way down. They would never talk about any other group this way. It's wild. And it's kind of like both sides are telling men to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, but one is like, I'll show you how, and the other is like,
figure it out.
Fuck off. And when they're not telling men to straight up fuck off, they're giving the 200 IQ answer that nobody has ever heard before. Just show your emotions, bro. And I'm not dismissing this problem, okay? I've made videos talking about this. Oh, you're crying at your grandfather's funeral? Okay, faggot. And studies have shown that men are scared to be vulnerable, even around the homies. And can you blame them when the media says stupid like this? Fellas, is it woke to open up to your fellow men and discuss history? Men are socialized to believe strength, dominance, and stoicism are behaviors of a real man. Is it any surprise that men are lonely and have less friends nowadays? You have to be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting men. Now, while a lot of this may be true, men have been socialized this way for centuries, and this is all relatively a new phenomena. Toxic masculinity has existed forever. If anything, there's less toxic masculinity nowadays. The cultural embrace of, like, gender nonconformity, femboys, Harry Styles in a dress, Barbie movie, blah, 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 blah. My point is, toxic masculinity did not just appear in the mid-2010s. But social media did, and the internet did, and the rise of dating apps did, and the housing crisis, and living in a country where the wealth inequality is worse than it was during the Gilded Age. That all happened recently. Oh my god.
That was a mouthful, wasn't it? Whew. You heard it. I don't need to repeat it, and I'm not rewinding it.
The privileged life these poor little boys must have, that their biggest problem is being lonely, i.e. so insufferable that nobody wants to sleep with them. So much more pressing than the poor distribution of wealth causing people to suffer food and housing insecurity. Boo-hoo, you're lonely and have no friends and are suicidal, wah. Because feeling alienated under capitalism apparently isn't a thing. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant. Men have been dropping out of college like flies. And what does that get you? Poor men. Which, since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time leads to single men, which then leads to lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high suicide rate. In my opinion, leftism at a policy level does a great job addressing the shitty material conditions that in part lead to the problems that men are facing, but then absolutely drops the ball when it comes to everything and anything related to men's cultural issues. Many such cases. And why would a struggling man even want to move left when the left appears actively hostile to them?
The question of whether or not the hashtag online left is enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murdering and assaulting.
The average young man in America isn't Jeff Bezos. Also, why did this motherfucker just FBI crime statistics at me? Men do the most murder. Okay?
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that. They want it to stay that way because it suits them. Because of the stuff, telling people they're special and deserve all the nice shit that they have, that's going to be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff and other people should have more.
Leftism is when you don't.
Anyone else? Is your brain hurting? What? I have so much and I also have nothing at the same time, guys. Like, I have so much to say and then I have nothing. I just am at like rock bottom here. The internet is a beautiful tool. It is also going to be our demise because anyone and everyone can get on here, including myself, and spew out whatever we want. And baby, listen, someone is listening and someone is watching. And that, my friends, is the problem.
Don't have a lot of stuff. We're gonna take your stuff. You sound like
gonna take your stuff.
65-year-old Fox News boomer's idea of what the left is. Are you a CIA agent? The right is saying to men, you will own a house. You will have beautiful children with your loving wife. You will have privacy. You will have free speech. You will own things, and you will be happy. And the left is like...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But don't get me wrong, Republicans will not do shit.
A great edit.
Will not do shit. The establishment in general will not do shit to help any of this. But the right is, at least rhetorically, offering men something other than nothing or the eternal HR department. Every time this discord comes up, there's people like, we need a leftist Andrew Tate. We need masculine role models on the left. But the fact is,
that wouldn't ever work, would it? Like, in all honesty, let's think about that. A leftist Andrew Tate. Who would that be and what would it look like? Because if you despise Andrew Tate, why would you want him on the left? I guess is my question. See what I'm saying? Like, it's like all one big hamster wheel of a contradiction all over the place. And on the left, on the right, on the up, on the down, on the purple, on the yellow, on the red, on the green.
it's hard for progressives to organically
punching the air
because a large part of progressivism is oppressive hierarchy, and men are oppressors. Making progressivism look appealing to young men is an uphill battle from the start. And although it's funny to laugh at insane people on Twitter, as always, there have been a lot of left-wing content creators talking about men's issues. If you would have told me this would be a thing 9 years ago, I would not believe you, because anyone talking about men's issues back in the day was called an MRA or a pick-me. But lately I have seen a lot of good pro-men lefty content, and I'll put some links to some below. I don't agree with all the points they say, but I recommend watching. It's much better than...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But the issue is a lot of this lefty pro-men content, it's always framed around how do we get them? As if men are just pawns and tools for your personal politics. How do we make the left more appealing to men? How do we stop lonely men from moving to Andrew Tate? Instead of just, how do we help men? And I think that's a really big issue, both.
There's always an agenda. There's always an ulterior motive, my friends. And thus is politics.
Sides seem to treat men as political fodder, disposable soldiers in the culture war and real war. Anyway, misandry is real. Oh good, finally! And while it doesn't systemically affect cis men, it most certainly affects trans men. Oh. Y'all talking about misandry doesn't harm men, and trans men are right there reading this shit, by the way. I see, now we only care about misandry because it affects trans men. Everyone stop! It's affecting a group I care about now. I love how the rhetoric just like evolved overnight from male tears to cis male tears. And I just have to ask, why aren't you including trans men in your misandry,
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. We knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to like have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men.
Welcome to being a man. Here's your complimentary isolation and yellow pillow. I love how even when he's experiencing the issues of being a man, he's like, this doesn't invalidate people hating men.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is like, even in the midst of this breakdown you're having, you still, like... Are we okay? We're not okay, are we, guys? Oi!
Come on, bro. Men struggling don't want to be lectured about the patriarchy. They don't want to be told it's all their fault. They don't want to be told they're part of the problem because, first of all, they're not. The average 20-year-old didn't build society. They go to work, come home, off to sissy hypno fetish porn, and go to bed like everyone else. I've talked about this before, but a lot of men's value comes from the money they make, unfortunately. Men are natural providers, and if they have nobody to provide for, they get into findom or send random girls on the internet money. I'm just kidding, but the fact is, a lot of men simply feel like they don't have a purpose anymore. Whether a job or a career that's fulfilling and pays well, or a woman or family to protect and take care of and provide for, men are lacking purpose. And a man will crawl through broken glass for a purpose. But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose? No, not him.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult.
I told y'all we were in a post-Christian world. And here we are with this man to so many men is like who they aspire to be. This is what they think manhood is. And really, it's what society is telling them, that if they can't do at least a fraction of this, they're useless. They have nothing. They have no purpose. In my opinion. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what it is.
No, not him.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
The absolute audacity to act shocked that Andrew Tate is scooping these guys up after a decade of lol male tears is insane. Andrew Tate isn't the solution to men's problems, but he is talking to them. The fact is, you did not care about them for years, and even now you just want to recruit them, not help them. And that's why you will fail. And hey, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of the left. Men, listen up. Wash your penis. So I guess I'll leave you guys with a question. Why do you think male loneliness has been increasing? What are your solutions for this problem? And are you dealing with loneliness? And I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.
I'd love for you guys to answer her last 3 questions down below in the comments. The way this aged in regard to her video about the Democratic fall and Kamala's campaign, kind of last-ditch effort campaigning for men, not so much caring for them, but just trying to get them on their side. The way this aged is kind of wild. I think I've said everything I need to say. I think this is sad. I think it's sad, and I think it's an all of us issue. It's an all of us issue. It really is, because boys turn into men, and we're raising the boys right now that are going to be the men of our future. And so it is an all of us issue. Very simple. I wish the gender wars would stop. I wish the left and the right war would stop. I wish everyone would just stop trying to be right and try to be better. Go and have the day you deserve. Bye.